SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
We can start this lecture with a thought process. You can create your own life as an artist sculpts a deity by metal casting. And today we will be basically discussing about metal castings in ancient India. A question might be coming into your mind, what do you mean by metal casting? Metal casting is basically a manufacturing process by which an object is made by pouring molten metal into a mold. And of course, the casting is considered to be the mother of all production, and we know that intricate statues which are being used as as idols for our worshipping purposes are made of casting alone. And if you look at the process involved in metal casting is very simple. What one has to do is basically melt the metal, and then you will have to prepare a mold like that what I have shown here. This is your mold, and pour into it, and once you pour, then it will be start solidified due to the cooling effects, and but it must be done properly, and then of course you will get a product. So, in a simple way one can say that casting having three processes, basically melt the metal and pour it into a mold and let it freeze. So, of course, it looks to be very simple, but it is not that. If you are not careful about making the proper mold, pouring it properly, and the solidification also should take proper manner, otherwise lot of faults will be there in the casting. And the casting methods are broadly divided into two categories. One is expendable mold casting, other is non-expendable mold casting. And some of the example of expendable mold casting are sand casting, plaster mold casting, investment casting, and others. In case of plaster mold casting, the plaster of Paris being used, but sand casting is quite old, and it was being used in ancient time, and we will be more discussing about the investment casting which was being used in ancient India profusely for making the statue. The non-expendable mold castings in which the mold will be used continuously. Some of the examples are die casting, continuous casting, and centrifuge castings. And this casting is not related to only the metal. It can be used for making glass, even we use the concrete buildings in for concrete slabs and other things, we do use casting. And keep in mind that some of these techniques also we will be discussing during the glass making process. And let me just talk about a little bit about the terminology, what are being used for metal casting. And I have shown here and here a mold, and this is having a what you call, these are the sand mold is be given, and this is having what you call a flask or a body of that in which you will be preparing a mold. It is having two halves, like there is a parting line here. This is the lower part is known as the drag, and upper part is known as the cope. And of course, the side view of this entire mold system is being shown here, and which is having cast metal. And this portion is the pouring cup through which the metal will be poured. It is having a conical shape, and then of course, slowly this what you call pipe decreases, and this is known as down sprue. and after that the metal will be flowing through the runners, and there is a riser also in which the molten metal will be kept stored such that it will be going slowly into the cavity in which the metal will be casted, and there can be a core inside this thing being placed, so that some hollow things can be made out of this casting. So, these if you look at terminology we will be using, therefore, I thought that I will introduce. Of course, there are more terminologies when you will be learning more about casting, metal casting, you will be learning about it. So, let us look at now that about the ancient way of making this statue what I have shown here. We had seen this statue. This is a dancing girl, which was obtained during the excavation in Mohenjo-daro in Sindh. Question arises how it was fabricated. It is having a lot of features. If you look at, these are bangles and these are jewelries, right, and it is having a lot of complicated structures like nose, eyes and other things. How one can make this is a very important aspect one might be coming to your mind. So, and this is basically being made by casting, and which was considered to be manufactured around 4000 BC, that means around 6000 years back. And this of course, the size looks to be too small if you look at the today's world, that is around 11 centimeter high bronze dancing girl, like this made of bronze. And besides this artifact, there are several kilns were being identified in that excavation site in the Indus Valley civilization, Mohenjo-daro and Mehergarh and other places, and also other parts of the country later on, of course. For these kilns are considered to be used for smelting copper, silver, gold, lead and others during that era. And beside this, metal casting tools were also obtained in this site, and some of this what you call I have taken from this paper, and you can see that image is from Wikipedia. So, let us look at now the metal casting in ancient India. I will be just giving you a bird's eye view of the what you call evidence, but it is not exhaustive one. If you look at the Rig Veda and Yadur Veda has provided a brief description about the metal casting, and Rig Veda mentions the casting process and tools used for iron smelting. Beside this, there are several texts are there. Let me quote two Sanskrit texts. One is Silpa Shastra and Yantra Sarvasva, which you people might be aware by this time, and it has really documented the metal casting procedures in a very intricate manner, in a very exhaustive manner. And Silpa Shastra, as the name indicates, it is basically deals with the sculpture making, and when you talk about sculpture making is a statue, icons and then tools and other things. And Charaka Samhita, which we have discussed several times, mentioned that, not discussed really, and in that the process of making sculptures and idols of gold, silver, copper, tin are being mentioned, and then they have talked about a process known as lost wax casting process, and it is in modern time it is also known as the investment casting. And besides this evidence, there are some of the earlier coins which dates back to 400 to 700 BC, were manufactured by casting method techniques, as a dendrite structures. Dendrite basically tree like structures, and there are several other also texts are there, but let me mention another very important text which is known as Abhilasita Chintamani, written by Someshwara III of Kalyani Chalukya dynasty around 1200 CE, which has given a detailed account of preparation method of wax pattern, slurry coating and provision of sprue, riser, runners, like whatever we had discussed in the terminology of the casting, modern casting, those are being mentioned in that book. If you look at the Silpa Shastra, these are the tools which are being used. The Kupala, which is in Hindi or in maybe Sanskrit Dhamatri, that is basically a furnace which is being used to heat the metal and also like for foundry work, and crucible where on the pot which will be used for melting the metal, and this is known as the crucible is also known as Gharma Arannamaya. And blower, of course, it is known as Bhastri. This air blower we have seen in iron during like when we are discussing about iron making. And these are of course the tools. Of course, beside this there are several other kinds of tools like tong, and then other kinds of tools were being used. But what is important for statue making is basically the proportions or talamana, right, and stance, what we call mudra. These are, and expression or the bhava. See, these are very important, which is a part of an art, and you should have a feeling for that to sculpt it in such a way that you will get a good statue. So, therefore, it is a combination of the technology and the art which is which was being used for making this making the statues. So, that is a very important point you should keep in mind, which is not that you segregate it, separate the knowledge, rather combine it and make a product out of it. The now we will be discussing about a wheel shaped amulet which was excavated in the Mehergarh, which is located in the Baluchistan and the Pakistan, and this is the place. We have talked about Mehergarh several times, right, and these are all Indus Valley civilization, or now we are calling it as a Saraswati Sindh civilizations, and which is around something 4500 to 3600 BC. And this wheel shaped amulets is shown here, basically the front side, and if you look at it is now rusted because it is made of copper, and a question arises how it was made. It was made basically 6000 years back, and it consists of 6 small rods. These are the rods, if you look at rods here lying in a ring. This is the ring one, and the diameter of course is too small, 20 mm, but still then how they might have manufactured it, and this thing what you call a research well by something around 7 scientists from western countries, and they have published this work in Nature Communication on 15 November 2016. And they have used very sophisticated instruments like high spatial dynamics photoluminescence imaging techniques to reveal a lot of metallurgy about earliest lost was casting object, this amulet. And I would urge you people to you can study and look at it. I will be just mentioning about it. Let us see that how they have fabricated this amulet, which is which was one of the oldest, rather the oldest among all the lost was casting products made in ancient time across the globe. So, they have also not only studied extensively, they have also made a model of this same thing, this amulet, and they have used something wax this model and a rod of circular diameters, and then they have made it into 6 things and then joined with a ring, and this what you call model is created first, and after that they use some kind of a clay and put it this thing, and then model mold is prepared out of this model. And of course, as I told that this model is made of wax which can be melted easily at the very low temperature as compared to the metal. So, this can be heated such that this model can be melted out, and then the shape will be formed, and after that you can pour this molten metal through this sprue, and then the metal will be going through all the places, and then solidification will be occurring, and this is the piece what they got. Of course, after that you will have to break this mold after it solidifies completely, and then you can get this metal casted amulet. And this is the thing what they got which is rusted one what we had seen, this one. Now, they have also looked at this casting from this process, and like take a smaller portion and then investigated using this modern techniques of imaging, and as I told earlier, this is basically wax, right, and this is your clay kind of thing throughout. And they looked at a small portion and to find out what is happening during solidification process. They have found that there is a dendrites structures when the temperature is between the 1085 to 1066 degrees Celsius. There is a dendrite growth of metallic coppers, and of course, oxygen will be around maybe 0.03%, and this will be starting there, and then subsequently what happened around something 1066 degrees Celsius, cuprous oxide and copper, right, eutectics are formed. As a result, the liquid phase solidified into this cuprous, the saturated copper, and also a copper and cuprous oxide rod like structures. So, if you look at these are the rod like structure which I have shown here, and this phase subsequently what happens like this low final metal structure crystal of dendrite coppers, it all became being made throughout this domain, and surrounded by oxygen saturated copper, right. If you look at these are basically the red one, this one is a cuprous oxide, and this yellow one is basically the saturated copper. As a result, they get a rod like structures also, cuprous oxide, but in the finally that is what is being now one can what is actually artifacts what being is what is 6000-year old. The people are finding something copper oxychlorides phase within the dendrites, while the saturated copper fully oxidized to the cuprous oxide within the eutectics, and they say as a result this eutectic cuprous oxide is preserved, and that they have found out of this, and they have also mentioned that this is the oldest artifact or the product of which was made by the lost was casting across the globe, and that means that was made in India basically. And of course, there is a lot of gap between that techniques and which is how it is propagated from this from this Indus Valley civilization toward the south and other parts of the country. But what literary evidence suggests that that again there is a arousal of this technology, it might have migrated from that toward the south, but there is a metal casting art got started in South India around something 600 to 900 CE by Pallava dynasty, and this of course attains a peak during early Chola dynasty like 900 to 1300 CE. And of course, this thing was being propagated and also supported by the king at that time. As a result, there is a confluence of culture and abundant resources around Tanjavur Kaveri Delta region and attain its peak in terms of technological development, combined art with the science, what I was mentioning earlier. This is a very much what you call amalgamation of the both art and science together. And this is the region where Tanjore region where it was being developed in earlier time. And if you look at, I have taken three figures here. Lord Nataraj. Lord Nataraj statue is quite intricate in nature. I will be discussing little more about it in the next slide. And this is the Lord Vishnu statue, which is quite intricate and metal, is a marvel of metal casting. So also a goddess statue. And I must tell you that there is a lot of research is going on about the dancing of the Lord Shiva, right, and which is very famous. And then one aspect I just want to bring to your attention, that lot of like astrophysics Nirupama Raghavan, ex-director of Nehru Planetarium, had done research and connected these star positions of Orion constellation to the image of Lord Nataraj. Due to paucity of time, I will not be discussing, but you can explore that thing. And beside this, there is a book known as Tao of Physics by Friedrich Capra, who was mentioned about this dance in the from the scientific point of view. You can look at that. And if you look at this Nataraj sculpture, which was being there and being worshipped in several temples, but the Chidambaram is the very important temple where in the city of Chidambaram and in Tamil Nadu, which you can see it is a quite intricate. And this figure shows the dance of Lord Shiva, and this dance is not ordinary dance, it is considered to be the cosmic dance of Lord Shiva, and this statue is made of bronze. You can see that there is a aureole of the flames which are here. These are the flames with lifting the left leg and crushing the apasmara with the right foot and displaying the grace with hands. And this statue is really very intricate in shape from the point of view manufacturing. But lot of mythological things and also lot of science will be involved in that. For example, some of the scientists have observed a marked similarity between this dynamic movement of particles in the subatomic universe and the macrocosmic dance of Nataraj. I think some of us should look at this aspect and combined with the manufacturing, like how it was a confluence of the art and science and also spirituality in it. The origin of artist impression Lord Nataraja is due to the Pallavas of South India, as I had mentioned earlier. Of course, later on it was being carried forwarded by the Cholas of Kaveri Delta region in South India, and also later on other southern kings also took it ahead. So, let us look at like this casting in the South India, which is still going on in a very pockets of the South India as a family business or family enterprise, but it is dwindling out. The Nataraja and Vishnu casting of Pallava and the Chola intricate casting was very much popular in medieval India, and this casting was basically also made out of pancha dhatu, is a alloy of copper, zinc, tin and gold and silver. We call of course in English lost wax process, but in Sanskrit is a madhuchista vidhana. Vidhana means method or a process, and as mentioned in Silpa Ratna and the Manasara. And later on of course these kind of things propagated to other parts of the country. It looks to me it has taken a cycle. That means from the Indus Valley civilization it might have come to the south side, after that it has gone also from south to the north. So, it might be the these things. It clearly indicates that this method of casting, that is the lost wax casting, is an Indian nationality identity, particularly during 10th century. And let us look at the processes involved in the investment casting. Of course, the first is one has to make use this wax model, right, and it has to be sculpted. Sculpted means very intricate part has to be done, and it can be done by an artist or what is being known as tapati. And they should have a good hand, good mind to do that intricate shapes in the model itself, which is very easy to manage, easy to put the place the shapes. And then these waxes are generally being used from the beehives or briksha rasha or resin from the tree or the cooking oil also people do use, or a combination of all three, and that it clearly indicates is organic in nature. And each model is unique because it will be done by artist, not by a machine. Therefore, each statue will be different and it will be having different also the expression, and wax model gets liquefied in the process. As I told that no two statue are the same, and this is a very painstaking job and it takes lot of time. This model takes around 1 to 4 weeks, and once you make this model, and then you will have to make these molds, and then you will have to pour the metal and allow it to cool, and it takes time. And rules framed in Silpa Shastra and Agama Sanskrit texts are being followed very strictly for manufacturing this. Let me just tell you little elaborately, like as I told that model is being made, but after that this wax model is to be coated with natural river clay or maybe some kind of a what you call layer has to be placed, so that the metal will not come in contact with that. And then fine grades clay from the Kaveri river is being used in the southern India, but in other parts maybe other material can be used. And coarse sand includes additives, charcoal, oil and cow dungs, like some of the things you can mix and do that. It takes again 3 to 4 weeks for drying period, so that it will be ensure that everything is fine. And then de-waxing is done. For that cow dung is being used as a fuel for de-waxing, and once de-waxing is done, then you will have to melt the metal in a crucible furnace using the wood, charcoal or sometimes maybe coal as a fuel. Nowadays of course people are using gaseous fuel and other things. And this mold has to be preheated before you pour this melted metal, and then subsequently it will be cooled, and so that solidification is occurring in a natural way. And once you get that, you will have to break this mold and then chisel it, file it and also polish it to get the intricate shape, but one has to be careful that intricate shape should not be spoiled in the process of filing and then also the polishing. So, let me just show you a video which is I have taken from the internet. Look at this is the wax which and then it mixed with the material and then you will have to make this kind of a shape and then intricate like wax being formed. And if you look at this is the statue, let us say Lord Vishnu, which he can prepare and he can make a model like that which is being shown here with all intricate shapes and lot of things has to be done. And he is rolling this wax into some form and look at that how he is using the hand and also little small tool to make the hand, I mean the fingers of the hand so nicely with a mudra postures. And then he will join with that and then of course, a lot of work has to be done on this. And this is the artistic work one has, then he has to mold being prepared out of this and it has been dried and being placed properly and some layer will be given and it placed on this portion. And then of course, this is another, this is a Nataraj statue what is coming up and it has been fired that this wax being drained out of this because of preheating and then the space being created for the melted metal to go in and you got the statue which is a Lord Shiva and Nataraj which is quite complicated out of just one casting he could manage to do. Of course, you can of course, this is another statue which is showing. So, you can see that process, it looks to be very simple, but it is very intricate, complex and time consuming, requires a lot of patience. So, lot of research work has been done, but I will show you some of them, that is compositional element analysis of Chola casting and about 130 Chola casting were analyzed and out of which 80% are bronze, that is made of copper and tin, rest are brass, copper and zinc. And of course, the alloyed with the lead to facilitate casting people have used and their proportions are fixed, passed from one generation to another generation and this is kept as a secret, this technology is kept as a secret. So, also the material composition and as many as 28 Chola castings had 7% tin, 7% lead and 2% zinc, of course, rest will be covered. And this technology was also being flourished during the Vijayanagar dynasty 13th to 14th century and they had of course, the lower tin conversion 2.5% tin and 3% lead. And this gradual transition of this method of producing statue took place from south to the north India, passing through the Vijayanagaras, Nayakas, Marathas to northern India to the as far as Nepal and Pakistan. So, as I told earlier that is it has taken a one circle according to the present interpretation. And let me show you the compositions of from the pre-Pallava time, which is something 200 CE to the 1800, till this Mughal till the British people, like even till the Maratha periods it was continuing. If you look at the copper was the major one, of course, there will be zinc percentage which varies from dynasty to dynasty and of course, lead will be there which is for easing the cast or the facilitating the casting process. The rest of the things of course, sometimes tin is also there, right, depending on the what they need, and others are constituents which are maybe a part of impurities of the metal what they will be getting or ores they will be getting. Let me talk about a bronze chandelier of 800 AD. If you look at like the Kumar and Saxon et al. Had prepared a detailed report of last wax casting method used by tribal subbusters Chhattisgarh region, for producing various bronze and blast objects. If you look at like the technology basically were with the people who were being neglected by us, like low income group people, tribal people, and those technologies are still continuing. And with the modern education, I think it is just going out and nobody is interested to keep that technology with us, which is indigenous. Let me show you this bronze chandelier, which is quite complex. There is elephant, 2 person are sitting, these chains are there, and there is a dancers, and then if you look at it has been claimed that this chandelier was made by the last was casting around something 800 AD in one piece, including the chain with one mold. How it was possible? It is a really very mind boggling proposition to say this. Even in today it is not possible to do that, and we need to do more research and how it can be. If it has been done, really great thing. So, there is a claim by some of the researchers that Indian metallurgy science and investment casting was transferred to Europe through the Portuguese explorer in around 1400 CE. But I am having a little doubt about this thing, but however, you can explore it, do not take it as it is, we need to have more evidence for that. Why they are saying? They are saying that the head of the papal foundry in Rome around 1400 CE, his name is Banacio Birigusio. He has been quoted as saying that the art of casting is closely related to sculpture. Of course, he has told a lot of other things. It is highly esteemed, it is a profitable and skillful art, and in large part of delightful. So, this is the ethos what Indians were having, maybe one can say that way, but more conclusive evidence are required to talk about. Let me discuss about another very interesting casting methodology which was being evolved in our country, particularly for making bronze coins of several quantities at a time. For that Sarma and Bharadwaj and later on Mukherjee and Lee have described about this casting system made of terracotta discs for making number of coins simultaneously, like a mass production of coin. Let me just show you that this is the mold assembly what is having, and if you look at these are the coins mold what is there, and it is having both what you call, this is having a central sprue here, the metal will be poured in this and it will be coming through that everywhere, and these are the small runners which are there to all these disc will be going. So, if you look at this, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 you can get one this thing in one plate itself. So, this having a cope and drag, if you look at two of them, these discs are stacked to form a jhari type mold. This is a mold, like one is top and other is bottom, and the stack is carefully packed from all sides. There is several kinds of stack will be there, right. It is packed from all the side in a sand molding box. This is your sand molding box, and the metal is poured as I told earlier through the central sprue, and molten metal is entered into these places through the runners. When it will be entering, it is important that some what you call cavities, some air vents will be provided such that air from the cavity, these are the cavities, right, cavities will be going out, so that you will get a very good coin without much problem in that. So, let me talk about another very interesting thing which I got yesterday only, that is the metal mirror craft of ancient India. The evidence says that the flat circular tanked mirror made of low in tin around 10% bronze metal were found in Quetta, Harappan region and Dholavira around 2000 BC. And this work basically what I am saying I have taken from Shraddha Srinivasan and I. Glover, an article which was published in Current Science. I have given reference here, you can see it is a quite a complex this thing. And today it is being what you call being fabricated in Kerala in a village known as Annamular, and this is very famous, known as Annamular mirror, and which is in Tamil and then Malayalam known as Balakanadi, and was used earlier days as an auspicious article during the Ashtamangalam. This is known as, even the Ashtamangalam or Ashtamangalam is even used not only in the south, even in the eastern side, and this tradition is was continuing from the around 100 to 200 CE, as we have got a something from Jain bottle tablets, which was in the Kushan period, and it included a mirror as a part of Ashtamangalam set. So, this mirror, metal mirror basically, was used as a part of our culture. And interestingly, the tradition of making this external metal mirror of delta high tin, around something 32.6 bronze, is still continue in Annamular village in Kerala, but it is about to die out soon, because people are not interested in doing that. And it is so interesting and also so good that one should think of why one should not continue it. And this I have shown you a oval shape bronze mirror of 7 centimeter long. This is your around 7 centimeter, and thickness is 3 mm, and it is having hardness of 500 VPN, that is Vickers pyramid number, and which is much higher than the steel. And of course, it has been described how they made it, and which I will not be discussing due to the paucity of time. And they have used a basically crucible cum mold. Mold will be here, and this is the upper portion is crucible. They will be melting it here and pouring it and doing that. And interestingly, what they have done, that the cooling is also done by the clay cooling, which is a fast cooling. They will have to do a inverted this thing after casting it, so that whatever maintained temperature will be maintained around something 540 to 350, so that this delta phase of the this interesting alloy will be maintained. And during the polishing process, the hardness also increases. So, the delta phase, as I told earlier, that in this interesting alloy is optimized by clever casting and polishing process, such that it is converted into silvery color and high hardness mirror. Of course, the temperature, melting temperature is around something 750 degrees Celsius, but however, they will have to maintain this temperature and you will be mixed so that you will get hardness. So, if you look at the mirror is skillfully manufactured using low technology and organic and common materials whichever will be there to produce a sophisticated high technology end products. And that was a tradition which is going on from 2000 VC to till today, but it is about to die. Now, it is not only with this metal mirror, but it is with a lot of products, because when I was a kid like you, and I had seen in villages a lot of small scale industries were going on, or we call entrepreneurs who were doing this metal casting across the country, but today you will not find them, they have gone with the time, and as a result they are coming to become laborer in some other places instead of becoming entrepreneur. So, let me just tell you that we need to revive this technology and also improve it, so that this product can be made, and it has to be also can be documented properly, and more research is required. Thank you very much for listening to this lecture, and in the next lecture we will be talking about glass making in ancient India. Thank you.